All right, all right. I am so excited. Welcome, welcome. I am excited for today. I'll tell you what, it is 9 at night. It's a Monday night, and it's all about the speech. Have you ever thought, well, my voice doesn't matter, or no one hears me or anything? Wrong. And I'll tell you why, because people listen, people watch. And if you take the time to really work and be in front of people with wonderful topics that you want to share with your passion and ideas, you'll be surprised. We have incredible speakers that are on our show each Monday night, and it's all about the speech is our topic. So right now I want to introduce my wonderful co-host. He's definitely a man on a mission when it comes to making things happen. And that's with our friend Shawn Walker. Shawn is a coach, definitely, especially for helping the youth when it comes to helping them learn communication in a better way. So there's no frustrations, that they can have their life in order. And we sure appreciate him doing that. But he coaches many people in public speaking. So with that, I'm excited to introduce Shawn. Welcome, Shawn.
Thank you for having me, Christine. How are you doing today? Because I'm doing exceptionally well. I'm glad to be here. I'm having fun. And like we do every Monday night, we talk about the speech. It's all about the speech. And we do a phenomenal job with that. And I'm just excited to be here. And I can't wait for our guests to speak.
Oh, I'm excited too. I was just wondering, we have our little points at the beginning, but I didn't know if we want to work on maybe your background. So
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying not to, like.
And I'm doing that on purpose. I know, just so I won't smile or anything. I'll just stay. But we can do that. These darn cameras.
I'm making my adjustments, and I'm trying to get the it's bouncing off of my green screen for some odd reason. And I was the one normally with the great background.
Yeah, I know that. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, right? What we this is good. This is good for us. It's good to be relaxed, roll our sleeves up, and just smile once in a while, right?
So if you could just bear with me one second.
Yeah, you bet.
As I make the adjustments.
Or we take the background off and we just have you.
We can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, we can. Normally we do this before the show, guys, but this, when we're impromptu, speakers just have impromptu, and there you are, full center. And I can't wait. The reason why it's important to hear your words of wisdom at the beginning, we have all these tips about speaking. So it is your turn to shine, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
And thank you. And this is amazing. Like I said, I'm excited to be here. And this is something that Christine and myself, we decided to do because we want to do this for speakers. We want to give you a place, a safe place where you can come and you can be showcased. We want that platform for you not to feel too comfortable with who you are, but we want you to come and stretch and be uncomfortable as possible, because when you become uncomfortable, you become amazing. You start to develop and you start to learn a lot of things about yourself. And that's why we as speakers have this platform. Christine and I, it's 9 at night. I know it's not too late and it's not too early, but it's right on time, and it's a great time to have this podcast. And what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight with you guys is that it is all about the journey. especially the journey in Toastmasters. And what journey is that? The journey I want to talk about is distinguished Toastmasters. And this gives us an opportunity when we become from a guest to a member, we all come with an idea of, I just want to become a better speaker. But Toastmasters offer so much more than just becoming a better speaker. In fact, we become better communicators. And how do we do that? Well, they have a track, they have a path where we select. And in this path, there are projects that we have to accomplish. And in doing these projects, we have levels. And our objectives in those levels helps us to develop skills. In fact, did you know that there are 361 skills that you learn in Toastmasters, in development, just within this organization? But that's just the communication side. There's also another side, which is leadership, where we get to actively participate in different roles. For example, there are roles of the board where we learn the structure and the organizational side of it. That's right. There are 7 members in the board, and you get an opportunity to start out as one of those individuals in the role. Normally, we start out as the sergeant of arms, but that's not always the case because you can start anywhere depending upon your experience. Some have came in and started out as the president. They had no idea of what the president entails. Or they do understand what the president entails by their experience because they lead in the work field where they are. So it's 2 variables there. Either way, it's going to stretch you, it's going to challenge you, but you will become confident in that role. And that track leads us to the high performance leadership. And we also learn how to do a club succession plan. This is with each member in the club and also the board members, where we have to create a plan, a success plan for the club. Then there is a high performance leadership project where we get to lead a project. That's right, we get to lead a project, and we have to do a speech about how we're going to structure the project, what we expect the project to look like, and then actually do the project. That's what I'm being most excited about. Now I know how to do a project. And lastly, what we do is we come back. And coming back, we give a speech about how the project went, what we learned from the project, and how can we move forward in future projects. Those are just some of the things that you have to acquire in order to acquire your Distinguished Toastmaster. And that's what DTM stands for, Distinguished Toastmasters. There are 2 paths that you have to complete, and there are roles that you have to serve in order to complete your Distinguished Toastmasters. And that is a prestigious honor to have behind your name, Distinguished Toastmasters. I've been one for almost 2 years now, and everywhere I go, I just love the idea of Distinguished Toastmasters. But that wasn't my original goal. However, I'm here, I've arrived, and I've accomplished it. Back to you, Christine.
Excellent, excellent. I sure appreciate that. I'll tell you what, it is awesome when you have incredible people making a difference. Now, Toastmasters is a worldwide organization. It's toastmasters.org. You can find out anything about it, but it starts anybody just by being someone nervous in the shadows that's never spoken in front of anybody, so that you can definitely go to the next level and gain your confidence, just as Shawn mentioned. I have some tips I want to share with you tonight. I just as a little kid, now listen to, just take me as, go with me, okay? So as a little kid, you're wanting to crawl and be like mommy or daddy and step in their shoes. And I have pictures of my kids when they're taking their baby steps in my big shoes. And with that in mind, Toastmasters, the ultimate for those that are serious speakers is to get paid to be a keynote speaker. So we're going to Toastmasters, and remember, you start at the baby steps, just what Shawn was talking about, but I'm going to give you tips on what's a keynote speaker and what they do. And the reason why is I believe in setting goals way down there. So today I start creating my pathway so I can reach that. And as a keynote speaker, which is the ultimate, let me explain. It's the principle, it's the main presentation when you introduce an event. It's usually given by a famous speaker. It sets the tone and the frame of the meeting. Oh my gosh, if you're shy and saying, I could never do that, Toastmasters is the baby steps for you to grow up in. And then boom, you're out there with the lights, in big lights and speaking in big places. So the best keynote speeches, they're inspirational and they cover an important idea. So today, when you start a speech, it's good to start practicing that with Toastmasters or anywhere that you want, in your church group or something. And they are so rich that people want to listen and write these down. So it's through research. So there's some tips here I want to share with you, and 8 tips for delivering a keynote speak. So first, you want to know if you're going to speak at your church, you're going to speak at your school, you're going to speak anywhere for starters. And it's the same process as in the big league. If you're asked to do a huge, big event, you want to know what the keynote means for that event. What is it that they want you to deliver? It's important that you have that focal point. And then you get all the research with that. Then you learn the intent. Okay, exactly what do they want you to do through your speech? If it's motivation, if it's to teach, it's to get them to go to another program, whatever it is, then you're going to have to research who your audience is. Understand who's going to be there listening to you. That's very important. If you're wanting to talk to those that are teachers and you prepare something for those that know how to professionally bowl, it's not the same thing, okay? So you definitely want to have your audience and learn who you are talking to. So that's number 3. Number 4, research. Definitely go through Google, social media, find out anything you can about the topics and about those that are in that profession. There's keynote speakers, they're not even the same company, have never been in a company, but they deliver something motivational or inspirational, and they built a name for themselves. So they're a famous speaker, they're going to speak at different places, and you bet they follow this same pathway. Plan your story. Think about the story you want to tell. Make it personal, and then add it to what they want you to present. And you can have a surprising outcome. You can make it mysterious, funny, entertaining, inspiring, gripping, and moving, or a whole combination of everything. Now, a keynote speech, get this, for the big leagues is 60 minutes. That's the big one. And so a 5 to 7 minute speech is all that we asked and Toastmaster asked to do on a regular basis. So you can do the same research for your 5 to 7 minute speech. Stand confidently and move us. Okay. Then number 6 is internalize your presentation. Make it you. Make it to where you are absolutely part of this, because if you don't have passion, it's going to be blah city. People will be looking at their watches or turning on their cell phones to play a game or something. You do not want that to happen. You want passion is what moves. And that is excellent when you're passionate. And then you want to connect with your audience at the event. You can come a little early, meet some people. But when you stand in front, you can address specific people and talk to them and mention them. Oh, Barbara, by the way, and I'll tell you, that looks pretty cool. Looks like you're in the mix. And you'll be more comfortable when you have met people before. And 8 is use social media to solidify the connections you made. Reconnect with the audience after your keynote on social media or in person. Get out there, meet and greet. Make yourself available, answer questions. If you're an author by then you can definitely be signing autographs. Now, it's then, and you're starting just now. See, those are big shoes, but every little baby step of learning how to speak, being part of Toastmasters, which Shawn told you, there are a lot of tips to do that. And they have the training for you, and it's absolutely fabulous. And you have a total support with that. So with that, you can find Good Note speakers if you need one just by Googling, and believe me, they'll come up. But what's really great, Shawn, I think it's important that you share how simple it is to get in Toastmasters, to get started.
And thank you, Christine. Well, what I would recommend anyone to do before they join is to visit the club. By visiting the club, this gives you an opportunity to observe. I'm big on observation. This gives you an opportunity to observe and pay attention, just to get a feel of what it's like to experience a speaking organization, because that's what Toastmasters is, a speaking organization, to first see if it's for you. I know we all can benefit from it. You just want to first see if it's for you. I know it's for you because it adds value to one's life. Not just being able to talk or break the fear factor, but this gives you an opportunity to be able to communicate in a defined time frame. So that's something that you will learn, how each member speak and how the transition works in the exchange of power. We're not all speaking at the same time. There is a system in which we operate. There is a handshake where we transition to power and give the other individual an opportunity to speak. So these are nuggets that you learn. Then you learn how an impromptu speech is given, where you are selected and they ask you a question, and you have a minute to 2.5 minutes to give an answer. I remember my first time, Christine, when I was called up to do an impromptu speech. I could talk, but I froze. And I never forgot that feeling. I never wanted to experience that feeling again.
I don't blame you a bit. I don't either, because I did that too. I am excited because we have a guest speaker today, and thank you so much for your wisdom and your wonderful support. Mr. Coach Shawn Walker, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker. Now, it's interesting. There's all kinds of speeches that you can give here. This particular individual is, and that's why I want you to start thinking of speaking. You know, put something together. It's more important too. So this individual is absolutely incredible. You would think it'd be a speech and she'd be in a dress or a suit or something. Well, this is a little bit different because she dressed to go along with her topic. And that's Tricia Jervis. She's a licensed practical nurse who currently works in the software industry, where she works to help make clinicians' lives easier. When she is not planning and organizing at work, you may find her submerged, get this, in video games. Her first love was Nintendo, and in her later years, she's enjoyed PlayStation console, which offered games for a more mature audience. And today, Tricia is going to be discussing some of the video games history, its applications outside of recreation. And we sure appreciate it. So let's welcome Tricia Jervis, and her speech is titled Gaming for Science. So welcome, Tricia.
Hello, hello, Christine and Shawn. Thank you for having me.
You bet.
Welcome.
We're excited. We're going to turn it over to you. The floor is yours. We're going to silence ourselves, and it is.
All right, thank you. I was born in 1979, and if there is a God, I truly believe he brought me there in that particular year to experience two important things: hip hop and video games. That year, in 1979, hip hop, or rap, would make its way from Jamaica to the Bronx, New York, just like my mom did. What a coincidence. Then the video game industry, hearing of my arrival, started planning so that they could become more affordable. It was perfect. I was young enough to play video games, but old enough to play video games at home alone. It wasn't until 1989 that my family had its first Nintendo Entertainment System. I played Mario, Duck Hunt, Tetris, Pac-Man, and I have fond memories of blowing the dust out of the cartridges. I mean, that was the only way you could get those old games to play. First off, let me start with a few definitions, one of which is video games. Video games are an electronic game that has an interface designed for human interaction on a video device, such as a TV, a computer, or even your phone. The humans interacting with those video games are affectionately known as gamers or players. One of the first at-home consoles was the Atari 2600, debuted in 1980. From there, they steadily grew in popularity. Fun fact, did you know the people who own Atari also own Chuck E. Cheese? By the mid-90s, the home console was surpassing the arcade game, but they were also being blamed for an increase in crime and teen rebellion. But honestly, is there any generation of teenagers that weren't rebelling in some way? My rebellion was hip hop and video games. In 2013, the American Psychology Association, or APA, realized that their 2005 policy statement on video games was actually poorly studied. The link that they thought they found between video games and violence were made on the basis of weak and inconsistent data. What made them change their minds? Well, they took a look at the statistics. The crime rates at that point were at a 40-year low. They even looked at the US versus the world, and it was the same everywhere. With that, well, let's talk about the game Call of Duty. Now, this is a video game that is kind of all about violence. It has made over 30 billion, and that's billion with a B, dollars in revenue. And that is a 425 million games sold. And that is more than the whole population of the United States. Now, to get ready for this presentation, I also performed a survey among the people that I know. This survey had a total of 54 respondents between the ages of 18 and 65 plus. And I really just wanted to get sort of a climate on how people felt about video games. The stats I found were interesting, but they made a lot of sense. For example, the largest segment of the survey, with 35% of the respondents, were around my age, between 35 and 44 years old. 92% of the 54 respondents had played video games on at least a computer device. Less than 5% have never played video games or only played once or twice. In terms of gameplay, 62% report playing video games between 0 and 2 hours per week, while 13% report playing a whopping 20 hours plus of video games per week. Most respondents report neutral to very positive feelings about video games. Now, if you grew up in the age of social media, you might think video games are an obvious counterpart to being online, but have you considered video games as therapy? Later, after my survey, I also discussed with life coach and counselor Buni Sripam about her work and what she does to get more info on how she speaks to kids who struggle through and have certain needs. And she especially works with a group of kids called neurodivergent kids. Now, neurodivergence, let's break that down a little. Neurodivergence is when someone's brain processes, learns, and or behaves a little differently than what is considered typical or common. This community has created a sense of belonging among people of all ages and allowing them to feel less isolated and weird. Buni explained that one of the more popular video games is Minecraft. This game is considered an open world or sandbox game, meaning that it allows players to do more of what they want with less boundaries in that virtual space. This game teaches math skills, learning code, teamwork, spatial reasoning, problem solving, and most of all, getting creative. You can do whatever you want and build anything in this game. But video games aren't just for kids. A 2009 study showed that Tetris helped reduce the effects of PTSD and anxiety. And many video games have entered the realm of the full body experience. Now, alternative treatments and even exercise with movement games are contributing in the area of physical fitness and occupational therapy. In 2010, the two loves of my life collided when Def Jam Rap Star was released. Think karaoke rap video game. Def Jam, a rap music label, endeavored into a total of 5 hip-hop centered video games. The influence that music had on video games and video games had on music is enormous. In conclusion, I believe that video games have found an inseparable and valuable place in our society. So I hope I've given you some thoughts to play with. Thank you.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I'll tell you, Tricia, I think what's so unique about your speech is it's so darn creative. And you talked about something you're passionate about. Was this something that you took some time to put together?
Yes, actually, this was part of one of my pathways. I'm on my second pathway doing presentation mastery, and I was finishing up level one of 5. This one was on research and presenting. And you can kind of pick on a topic that you have no knowledge on or something that you want to share that you do have some knowledge on. And I went through the process of creating a list of references. I had an interview, I did surveys. So that's how I came to putting this particular speech together.
Well, Tricia, I just want to say I could see this speech was well researched. I could just tell this speech was researched. And I've done that same path as well, presentation mastery myself. I can see you took the time to research. You had the information. Your delivery was beautiful. I was just sitting here in awe. And my son is one that's a gamer as well. And you also gave descriptive words. You gave us a visual of each individual neurovirgins. I would have to place my son in that category because he's been just amazing with the computer. And you're right also about the translation from the video gaming side to the music, because now he has found a passion for music. He's playing the drums. Now he's learning to play drums, but he's also learning to play the guitar. So thank you.
Awesome.
Oh,
Oh, you're welcome.
You'll definitely have to see this too. Now, you're an RN, you're a nurse, you work in a professional field, but here you're living your dream. It's like, oh, you're dressed and stuff. I would say you're like in college or something, just in your early 20s. Let's talk about that. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I found this great shirt. It's actually a cassette deck on there, but the 90s is when I grew up on video games the most. And so I really wanted to sort of represent that in the speech. My background is the character Mario. If you've had a Nintendo system, you're familiar with that character. This is more of one of the more recent versions of his character. I believe there's actually a movie coming out next year as well. But yeah, just wanted to sort of show that no matter what your profession, when it comes to time to relax, time to unwind, you can pick up video games, or you can do whatever you want that sort of brings you back. And whatever that space is that it brings you back to, that nostalgia, that childhood, that those connections really mean a lot. And I just wanted to share mine.
Well, I'm looking at this, Christine, and I'm looking, she's exemplifying work hard and play harder.
That's right.
Oh, definitely. There's so many examples we can make out of you in a good way. Like those tips I was giving at the beginning, keynote speaker stuff. You did, let's go through that. You did the research. Let's seriously, this is so cool. I would love you to share your Toastmaster story, how it's helped you, because you are excellent at what you do. Did you always give speeches like this?
Well, at work, I started into a position around 2020 that I knew was going to warrant more public speaking. I was going to have to be more persuasive with my customers. I was going to have to talk with my team on a daily basis and communicate information that was going to, get our team goals achieved. And with that, I thought, I really do need to look into public speaking, and I found Club Awesome. I don't even know whether I chose it at random because there were a few different ones in my city, but I liked the time because I knew as soon as I get into that meeting, it would really energize me for the morning. We start at 7 a.m. on Fridays, and sometimes you don't have the right headspace on a Friday. You go in and you're like, oh, it's the last day of the week. Let me just hurry up and get through this. But I've really found that having that 7 a.m. meeting for us on that Friday morning really helps energize and end my week. I'm ending it on a positive note. I'm doing something good for myself, and I'm able to take that back to my team at work also. It's one of the only times they'll see me on camera too. So I call that a win. I like that Toastmasters has allowed me to feel more comfortable with being on camera, being presentable, and being able to speak more eloquently, clearer, and also define those leadership goals that I've set for myself as well.
Oh, I love it. What about you, Shawn? I think she's a prime example of everyone to see if they're an adult.
Well, I know the challenge of what it is to get up in the morning. I myself am a product of Club Awesome. That's where I started. That is my home club. My heart is in voice, but my place is in awesome. Now, what I want to do, I just want to play the devil advocate a little bit because I'm listening. And as a Club Awesome just starter, I'm noticing when you speak, I want you to use the power of the pause. There are some ums, there are some you knows, there are Ghanas. I want you to slow it down, use the pause, and start over. Just be cautious of the pause, because the pause, it really helps us to give our listeners an opportunity to absorb what we're talking about. Because sometimes we have a lot of information and we have that 5 to 7 minute window, and we just spit out that information and we don't use the pause. That is a powerful tool that you have in conveying your message. So make sure you use the pause.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, he's awesome with great tips. You're already perfect, but he wants to make you just shine out there like anything. And we can all learn from that. I know Shawn has things he works on. I have things I work on all the time. We wouldn't be doing anything unless we knew that we were trying to help ourselves too.
Well, one of the reasons, Christine, we created this platform was to encourage. That's what we do. We encourage. You have a great presentation. I want you to take it to the next level. And that's why I give you those thoughts nuggets, because it's all about going to the next level. I examine myself daily, and I'm constantly like, okay, am I saying this or am I saying that? Or how was it received? Or did I convey it a certain way? And these are all skills that I was learned. And these are some of the skills that are within the 361 skills that we learn as Toastmasters. And some of those skills are amazing because we start to pay attention and we start to take it notice. So just a little tip.
I have a question for everybody.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
So you're not supposed to use so to start.
You're not supposed to use so. And Christine, I was going to get on you too because it's so, and I'm hearing and. Your favorite word is
I'm
and.
seeing if you're on. I just checking if you're paying attention.
I'm paying attention, Tricia, and I'm not just on you. I'm listening to her too. I have my little notes that I'm writing down. I'm always paying attention.
Question: what is your ultimate goal with speaking, Shawn? And then I'm going to ask you, Tricia.
My ultimate goal at first was to be a better speaker. That's not my ultimate goal. Now my ultimate goal is to become I'm a paid speaker, but I want more gigs and I want more stage presence. That's my ultimate goal. You got a stage, I want to be on it.
Excellent. I love that. What about you, Tricia?
I think, like Shawn, I had a starting goal, which was learn to speak, learn to communicate my thoughts more concisely, learn to use the pause. But I think right now, my ultimate goal, and maybe it's a moving target, but I think my ultimate goal would be to get into using voice work, doing voice work, like narrating, doing voices for, characters or anything like that. I really like that part of it. And I have the kind of voice that can be kind of monotone. So I want to be able to work on all of that range that people really use their voice for and be able to communicate in ways of that nature.
I love it. That is interesting because it would be fun for 9 at Night to come up with ways that we have those that hire vocal people to come on and do a meet and greet. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, that sounds like
that would be amazing because that's the direction that I'm headed in as well. That's what I was saying, stage and the vocal variety that you learn in Toastmasters as well. You know how to bring it up, and then you know how to bring it down, draw. And all that is being animated and being a character, bringing a character to life. I feel you, Tricia. I know where you are. And that's a beautiful, beautiful goal.
Oh, I love it. How exciting. We can have a lot of fun. Now, Toastmasters, they have contests. They have local contests, area contests, and then around the globe. Have you guys thought of being in the contest?
I can share. I have participated in the contest. In fact, our president of Toastmasters, Matt Kinsey, and I competed against each other. Yes, yes. I just want to say
Nice.
it. Matt and I competed against each other.
Who won?
Well, Matt won the contest, but I won the battle. We became friends really quick. But no, that is what we learned in competing. And Matt brought the best out of me. And I brought the best out of Matt. Like I said, Matt won the contest, but I won the battle. And I think he knows that.
I love that. How much fun. So was that on an area? Was that a divisional?
We were at the aerial level.
Oh, okay.
And Matt had been around Toastmasters for quite a while. And to compete against someone of that stature, myself, and I was new to Toastmasters. I think I was, at that time, I was only in Toastmasters maybe 4 years. And to compete against a Matt Kinsey that is the president of Toastmasters right now, that says a lot about.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations. What was the subject matter? What did you talk about? Or category?
Well, I spoke, it was the international contest.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke on that particular day about the right place, right time, and the right things will happen. That was the title of my speech. And I was at the right place, I was at the right time, and the right thing almost happened. But I was glad to take my number 2 seat and also take the experience. And like I said, we became friends really quick.
I absolutely love it. Tricia, have you been in a contest?
I actually have not.
See?
I considered it, but I have not. And actually, I was waiting for the humorous speech contest to happen because I had myself a good 4 minutes of time I was going to put toward a little stand-up routine. And then we found out that we weren't going to have like the additional levels of the contest. So unless I decide that we're going to do the humorous contest in the Club Awesome, then I won't get an opportunity to use that, but I'm going to hold on to it because I do not throw away ideas. I keep them and I put them somewhere.
How about this impromptu? Would you want to do it in stand up right here? Well, we'll be a really awesome audience.
Oh, I don't even remember what it is anymore. I have it in like notes. I actually video recorded myself doing it a few times, but it was so long ago that now I don't even remember.
But I got this idea for you, Tricia.
Yeah.
Because the information you shared with us today was so insightful. And I want to say that because you can take this speech that you deliver, polish it up, use the power of the pause, and enter the international speech contest.
There you go.
And guess what? You can add your humor, and you can also bring in the parts of the neural. See, giving a speech is about levels. It's almost like vocal variety. Just like I gave you that example of raising your voice, lowering your voice, and then speaking. You could do something that has never been done. And that's what will make you stand out from the rest.
That's right.
This is it. That's the, and we said it first on 9 at Night. We know who coached who, and I was a witness.
Well, I hope it's recorded.
It better be all that work we did.
With the statistics you gave, the examples of the personalities, you take a speech like that and then the humor, because you want to add your humor. And you put that into a speech, because a speech is consisted of not just one monotone or not just information. You want to mix it up. You want to give it life. You, Tricia, want to do voiceovers. This is an opportunity for you to do it. You take this speech, you polish this speech, and you bring this speech to life through animation.
That's right. It. Yes, and animate it.
You have your cheer question. And you know what? Now it's through internet they're doing these.
Right, exactly.
Hello. You know, as a matter of fact, the one that won, Mark Card, is that his name? Mm-hmm. He was on internet. It was during 2020. And he had a lot of moves. He was getting into the camera and back, and he had a great topic. This beats that. I mean, don't let him hear that. But
well, for one,
this is so creative, having your game right up there, your game face on. Oh my gosh, I was right into that.
That's one of the things that was so compelling, is that you engage your audience. Mm-hmm. You have a great background. Mm-hmm. That no one will have that background.
Oh, they won't. They won't have your T-shirt either.
And they won't have the controller that she brought out. I know a lot of speakers use props. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of contests, and I competed against.
Now we got to keep this a secret so no one else tries it.
But these are tips. We want to encourage you and inspire you to bring out the best in you. And that's what we do at 9 at Night. We give you all these tidbits. You take them, you polish that speech, because it's so insightful and so thoughtful. Because guess what? I'm going to tell you the greatest thing about it. Everyone has kids.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
and they're going to take something from your speech.
That's right.
Utilize it.
You know, I love the way the pathways, we were talking about that. We were all on another meeting together, and I loved the fact a gentleman from Belize mentioned, I got to take this pathway of making sure I can influence people, because I have 3 teenage daughters. What is that?
I was cracking up.
So, that's just to let you know that when you speak, people are paying attention to, first of all, they look at the title, and then they look at the discussion. Like, how did she begin her speech, right? These are just tidbits that I look for in a speech, and I'm paying attention. Then I listen to the content. I'm like, okay, this, because the judges, there are categories that they have on that tally sheet. And this is just a little information for you, Tricia, that they score by, and they look for all these categories within your speech to rate you on that. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you deliver that, that's how you get the high scores. It is a scoring system. It's more so than a speech, but they're looking to see how well constructed was this speech, and they're evaluating each specific area of your speech. Did she have a closing or a call to action? What did she want the audience to take away from the speech?
Mm-hmm. I think it's just perfect in my book. I'm having fun, okay? Just okay, Tricia. since we've all been evaluating you, how about you evaluate this guy right there, right there.
Is it Mario?
It's an arm wrestle. Something like that. My fingers are getting backwards now.
All right, so
At least it's not turning invisible like you. Background. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
all right,
Tricia.
an evaluation on Shawn.
And me too, I guess. I'll be part of it.
All right, I will do a tag team evaluation. This is my first time visiting 9 at Night. I've heard so much about it, and really, how could I forget? I know I remember the speech that Christine gave on 9 at Night, and if I had to take a drink every time she said 9 at Night, I wouldn't survive that game. So that tells you how much she put into making sure that no one forgot that it was 9 at Night. So here I am, using the so's,
That's okay.
but also just wanting to give my evaluation on how I've experienced it so far.
Mhm.
I really enjoy the two of you playing off of each other, being able to start, stop, continue, and speak together at the same time and just make me feel welcomed. You're giving a lot of tips, you're giving pointers, you're using that pause, you're using your visual stage and really presenting a unified front in terms of what you're here for, and that is to elevate the speakers. And you've done that for me. I thank you all for your input, for your opinions, for your encouragement, asking me about my goals. So you're really keeping your guests engaged, and I enjoyed that. And I thank you again for having me on your program. I hope to be able to tune in for some future episodes, and I hope you all keep on shining your light on others and allowing them to shine their light everywhere. It's going to just be a 24/7 leadership speech extravaganza around here. I can see that. So thank you.
I love it. Thank
All
you.
right.
Woohoo. Well, with
Well,
that,
I guess Christine, you're the star that Mario's and I'm Mario and I'm looking at you.
there you go. Well, vice versa, Mr. Stark. And all these titles after your name. But it has been fun. Great friendships here. Tricia, you're amazing. I absolutely
Thank you.
am always impressed with your hard work and effort and research, because that's really creating interest. And you're a prime example of those that need to prepare for a speech. Excellent. Shawn, I
have the question right before we move forward, Christine. Are you going to get in the contest?
Oh, me?
Oh, me?
Not you, Christine.
No, it's got to be
Me,
her.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Tricia.
I would like to, and I am sort of working through getting those 3 contests going in my club.
Okay.
And I wouldn't mind participating in the international.
Are you the president of Awesome now?
VP of Education right now. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a secret, okay, Shawn?
Okay.
I wanted her at the meeting that we were at previously, because I want her to take my place next year in that meeting.
Okay, she's an understudy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not you're not actually the VPE as of yet.
No, she
Oh,
is.
I am. I am right now.
I want her to be. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now it makes more sense. She's shadowing you.
Right.
All right. Well,
Isn't that the way to do it? Because then everyone knows who she is. Also, Shawn, as an area director, and you're an area director, we can't.
I'm a past area director.
So you can compete in a contest this year. Question back to you.
Well. However.
You hold him to it, Tricia.
However, I will see how that works out because I may be on the planning side since we have a lot
Ah.
of members in our club. I
Ah.
love competing because competing, especially in person, there's no greater experience than the in-person experience of public speaking, where you're there, you're looking at individuals, you feel the room, you get a knack, all the nervousness is there, the fear builds up, and all that is essential a part of speaking. And when you're able to say, turn the lights on, go on stage, make it happen, that's the beauty, and deliver a speech. Whether you win or not, I learned in competing, it doesn't matter. The real victory is when you go on stage and you have that courage to do what you're sought out to do. That's the greatest victory.
Ah, bravo, bravo. Well spoken. Thank you so much. We're at the end of our hour. I just absolutely love what we're doing here and what we're talking about. This is Tricia, and Tricia has been with us. A wonderful speech, and we hope she continues on to the international speech contest. And we're going to definitely coach her, and hopefully she'll do that. Moving forward, we want to encourage all of you. Are you ready to be a speaker? Because it is all about the speech, starting on any level that you want. It's okay. You saw today that everybody started somewhere and now they have big goals and big dreams, and they're going to happen because they stay in the game. We have a nonprofit here. Shawn, do you want to talk a minute about this?
Yes, I do. And this is my nonprofit organization. It's called Motivating Future Leaders. Within this organization, I teach 10 principles to youth here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And these principles, I teach them to become better communicators. I want to break that fear in these youth today of not being able to communicate. I want them to be able to present themselves in a way where they have self-confidence and they're able to minimize conflict within their peers. Because when you're able to communicate, you're able to minimize that friction. A lot of friction comes from not being able to communicate. So I want to minimize that, and I want to train and help these youth to become communicators. And ultimately, the goal is for them to become leaders, because when we become communicators, we learn leadership as well.
Now, is there room with this to have other fellow Toastmasters be like like the big brother and sister type thing, to be mentors or anything?
There is going to be an opportunity where I have individuals that are professional speakers come in and mentor with that element of it, to also help to share and help to participate in this organization, where they become like a big brother, a big sister to these kids, because we need that leadership. And we come to Toastmasters to become what? Not just better at speaking, but to become effective communicators and leaders. So I'll be looking for those individuals.
Well, you don't need to look too far. We got Queen Gamer here that kids would absolutely adore. Just saying, Tricia, I'm not trying to say anything, but just a thought.
There you go. There you go. Well, she's already a nurse, and she already has some psychological in her presentation. So
yeah,
and she does research. So this will give you another opportunity to speak for an audience.
Yeah, very good, very good. I'm sorry, Tricia, that's what you get. Anyway, I sure appreciate it. Anyway, we'll give you more information on that. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Moving on, we sure appreciate this show. All those have been on. I appreciate my co-host, Shawn Walker, and of course, our wonderful guests. I can't say thank you enough. And next week, we have more incredible speakers making a positive difference. Thank you, and have a good night.
Yay! I just love it, Christine.